Okay, boss. So, as part of this SAP demo, HANA demo, what we're trying to do is we just trying to understand what is SAP HANA and what are the different use cases of SAP HANA. Means where can we use SAP HANA? Boss? So you understand the business process of the customer. In what kind of business process can we leverage SAP HANA? That's what we deal with use cases. And then we just go on to understand the different topics what we'll be covering as part of this course. Okay. Now, so SAP HANA, yeah. So just like any other database like Oracle, SQL Server or MS SQL, Sybase, DB2, like any other database, SAP HANA is also a database. But it's an in-memory database. When it's in-memory database, it does store data in main memory RAM, and it will also process the data in main memory. Okay, so it's just like any other database, but only thing is it's an in-memory database where you basically process your data in main memory and you store data in main memory. That's what SAP HANA is. And SAP HANA is also an appliance. Now, when you say appliance, like say, we always refer a software which comes along with the hardware as appliance. For example, if you look at washing machine, you have controls to start, stop, and restart it. All those stuff. Timer, you can set up timer. So it has got some software embedded into that machine. So we call that kind of software as appliance. Okay. So even when you look at SAP HANA, it has been designed. The software has been designed to get along with certain hardware capabilities. So it is referred as appliance. So it is a software which is customized to work for with certain hardware capabilities. So we refer HANA as also an appliance here. Okay. So you can see there are certain partners with SAP, hardware partners like Dell, Cisco, IBM, HP and Fujitsu who actually manufacture the hardware with respect to SAP HANA. So SAP HANA is just a software which is customized to deal with the hardware of SAP HANA. Clear on this? Yeah. So that's where we refer HANA as appliance. Yeah. Now, SAP HANA is also considered as platforms. Now, what is a platform? Basically, you can understand like a server where you can deploy your applications. For example, if you look at business objects, you create your web reports and save it onto what? Publish it onto BO Enterprise, and then start running your reports on the server. Similar way, SAP HANA comes with XS engine. We call it as extended application server, or we call it as like extra small engine. Okay, we call it as extended application server. Okay, SAP HANA from SP5 they started this engine which is referred as extended application server. Very, very important. Okay. Now we'll see what is this actually doing. So before we see what this is doing, we should understand this part of it. If you look at any application development, now what do we have? We always have we have what? We'll have a database, and we'll have application server, and then we'll have some what? Front end. So we'll have what? DB, then we'll have application layer, and then what? Presentation layer. So whenever you say you're developing some application, it will always have these three aspects, right? It will have a dedicated database, and it will have an application server, and it will have the presentation layer. Yeah. For example, if you look at SAP application like BW, you can install BW with any database you want. So the backend you would have some database, and you will have ABAP server, ABAP application server, which is running all your programs of ABAP, and you would have some front end which could be with Java stack or ABAP stack. Portal is what? With Java stack could be. Yeah. So you'll always have front end screen, application server, and what? A database. So what happens? Let's say if you understand a simple ABAP program, let's say I have a table in the database where I've got some 100 records. You would like to do some processing of those records and print the results into the screen. So what do? You will have an ABAP program where you will have a select statement which basically reads data from the database and put it to what? Internal table, and you loop through the internal table and process your data and then gives the results back to the front end. Right? So what is happening? Every time your application server needs data through a network communication, you're reading data from what? From the database into the internal table, processing it and sending it back to the database or to the front end bus. Okay. So what they understand is when we have applications running like this, most of the time taken by your program is all spent at reading data from database to application server to database. Let's say if my program is running for 1 hour, 60% of the time is spent just reading data from database to application server and pushing data back from application server to database. So now if you look at, so the concept here is, if we can eliminate the movement of data from database to application server and application server to database, can we reduce the time of 60% and speed up my performance of the programs or applications? That is the intention with applications what is being deployed on HANA with XS Engine. Okay. Now look at this. So what it does is, actually your HANA would have different servers in it. Different server is what? Server is all about programs. Okay, set of programs. Yeah. So you'll have some main two servers. You have one is index server and one is XS Engine server. So index server is the one which actually takes care about the database, creating of database, manipulating of database, all handling of database is all done with what? Index server. Okay. Then apart from this index, so index server will run as a process in the OS. Let's say I install my HANA database in some SUSE Linux server. So your index server will be running as a process in the server level. Okay, as a service. Okay. Same way, apart from index server, you'll also have another process called XS Engine server or XS Engine process. Okay. Now, because of this XS Engine, we are able to use HANA as platforms. Now, what is this XS Engine? Look at this. So, what we are trying to do now is, with the new framework application development, instead of moving the data from database to the code, we are trying to push code to the database. Instead of developing an application which reads data from your database to the application, we are trying to push code itself to the database. You getting what I'm saying? So with this, we are eliminating the movement of data from in and out from the database, improving the performance of your applications. That's the target here. Okay. Now look at this. How do we do this? So we have something called HANA native development. Yeah? So as part of HANA native development, SAP has delivered certain framework through which you can develop your applications and deploy it on the XS Engine, which is application server on HANA database. Within HANA database, you are going to have an XS Engine, which is an application server running as a process. You can develop your own applications and deploy it on XS Engine. That is called HANA native development. To do this, what SAP has done is they have given, any application you develop, you must have front end, you'll have some database and then some services running in to serve your front end programs. Right? Combining all these three, we will be developing an application. Okay. So when you want to develop an application and deploy it on XS Engine, SAP has given certain framework to develop those applications. Now look at this. Now to design your front end screens, they have given something called SAP UI5. You heard about this? SAP UI5, which is nothing but your normal HTML5. You heard about HTML5? It's normal HTML5 with some JavaScript into it and with some CSS classes into it and with some built-in libraries by SAP. Together we call it as SAP UI5. SAP UI5 is built with HTML5 with some more adding libraries and under ready-made code which is written by SAP, and then JavaScript and CSS. When I say CSS, it's about formatting, cascading style sheets, which we use it for formatting the components. So you have a drop-down box, text box. You want to format that, you can use what? CSS. That's what we do. Yeah. So in the combination of HTML5, JavaScript into it, and then the libraries into it, and also the CSS classes into it, together they have defined something called SAP UI5. So by using SAP UI5, you can start designing your front end screens. That's the target. Okay. So that is the framework. Yeah. Next.
Returning means language, entire code is in Java code and front end.
SAP UFI. Front end is SAP UFI. That's not Java. SAP UFI. And based on more HTML and with JavaScript into it. We'll see that. Next, okay. Next, what is it? Next, let's get into database first. Okay. So here with the new application framework, database has to do two things. You remember in the old application, what database was used only to store database, and then all the processing was done with what application server. But now what we said, in order to reduce the time taken for the movement of data from in and out of the database, we are trying to push code to the database. Means we are trying to push data intensive logic deep into HANA database. HANA database lone mottam logic I need to implement. So what they've done is, so here I will be using my HANA database to store my data and also for processing or for executing my logic also. So two things I need to do, to store all your what? To store your data and also to execute all your logics, to calculate all your logics. To do this, what they've done is, so as it is like any other database, HANA has got its own database structures where you can create tables, views, all those stuff, and can store your database. Now to process the data in those tables, SAP has given, like we can use what? In any database to process it, do we use SQL, structured query language, or we can use SQL script, which is nothing but, in Oracle we use PLSQL, which is like where we use SQL, an extension to your SQL and you write your programs. Same way here we will be using SQL script. We can use a SQL script and implement your data processing logic in the database and your as a procedure, as we call it a stored procedure. Now this stored procedure gets executed in HANA or in your ABAP layer, in HANA database itself. So I am pushing my logic into HANA database now. Yeah, that is one flexibility. And one more is, SAP has given something called CE function, calculation engine functions. So what they've done is, for frequently used SQL statements, they've defined some CE functions. Ready-made functions with separate syntax. You can use those CE functions and implement that logic into HANA database. That is one way of doing it. Another way is, SAP has come out with something called AFL, Application Function Library, which will basically have two sets. Okay. One is Predictive Analytics Library and Business Function Library. So when you say library, it's a ready-made functions delivered by SAP for most frequently used predictive analytics functions. They have given ready-made library. Same way for more frequently used business functionalities, they have given ready-made functions. If you want, instead of rewriting that logic, what you can do, you can just call that function and pass on the parameters what is required and get the results out. So by using this application function library or CE functions or SQL script, I can implement the data intensive logic deep into HANA database. HANA is a database, it will store data, it's fine. Apart from storing data, I would like to push the data intensive logic into what? HANA database. To push the logic or to implement that business logic in HANA database, I would go with either creating a stored procedure with SQL script or with CE functions, or I can also use application function library, which is already delivered by SAP. The ready-made functions, ready-madely delivered by SAP to implement predictive analytics logic or to implement business function logics. Okay, which is actually written with C++ as a language. These libraries were developed by using C++ as a language. Okay, so now I have a front-end screen. I have got SAP UI5, which will be used for what? Designing the front-end screen. I already have a database which is storing data and executing my application business logic also. I have a thin functionality where I just need a control flow logic. Say for example, I click a button in the front end. How do I know for this button which procedure should I trigger? So I need a middleware layer which can basically interface that front end and what back end, which is very basically thin functionality of controlling the logic. Like say I have got 5 buttons, I have got 5 stored procedures. Say you click button 1, I need to execute stored procedure 1. When you click button 2, I need to execute stored procedure 2. So we'll have to implement an if condition. Say if button 1 is clicked, execute stored procedure 1. If button 2 is clicked, execute should I write a logic like that? Yeah. But actually the procedure is written in database and the buttons are in the front end. But I need some middleware layer which can just interface with the, say you send a request from front end, So there should be some service which can understand that request and redirect the logic, redirect it to the database to execute that particular logic, right? So that is called, we call control flow logic. It's very thin layer. It's not very big complex one. Very thin functionality just to understand the request from the front end and redirect it to which logic to get executed. Yeah. So what SAP has done is just to execute this control flow logic. Why should we have a different server? Why don't we use the same HANA application server itself to implement this control flow logic? Just to have the controls. Yeah. Then what they've done, they've given a framework called OData. They call it as XS OData services or XMLA or JavaScript. By using OData services or JavaScript or XMLA, you can create a service which can respond to the request what is coming from the UEFI. Let's say the UEFI in the browser, I say HTTP so-and-so server, so-and-so, I just say so-and-so HTML page. It sends a request to what? The server, to the server, right? Which server? We call it as what? Access engine server. This will understand the request and then redirect the logic in HANA database and execute the results back to the front end. So now, did I eliminate the movement of data from HANA database to application server? Because my application server is also in HANA database. Generally what happens, your BW server is different, your database server is different. So they are connected in the network. So your server reads data from this database and then processes it, right? Now what is happening? Your index server, which is your database server of HANA, is running in the OS, and your access engine, which is actually processing all your applications, is also running on the same server. So both this access engine server and your index server will have intercommunication at the OS level itself. So there is a very good tight integration. There is no movement of data here. So whatever services you write with OData or JavaScript or XMLA will understand the request from the front end and then redirects the procedures or logics, and the logic get executed what? In the database. So with this concept, did I push the code to the database, or am I moving data from database in and out? I am not moving. I am just manipulating the data within the database without bringing it in and out. Getting what I am saying? So they have given a framework like this to design a front end screen, SAP UI5. For designing the services, OData, JavaScript and XMLA. For designing your database in the backend, we have got database as an index server to handle your database. And also we have a flexibility of writing CE functions or SQL script or what? AFL function library through which you can implement data intensive logic deep into HANA database. Your services will only read the request and redirect which logic should get executed in HANA database. Now, am I pushing logic to the database or am I reading data from database to the server, application server? I am pushing the logic. With this, did I eliminate the movement of data from database in and out bus? Will it improve the processing of your applications here? That's what their target is. So, because of this access engine, we can develop SAP has given this framework where you can develop your own applications, own HANA native applications and deploy it on access engine itself. Clear this bus? That is what you can do. It's not about developing your own application and deploying. You can also install some other servers onto it. For example, now, how many of you heard about Design Studio bus? Design Studio is a new BO reporting component which is given to design your dashboards bus. So Design Studio it has got different startup modes. It can have startup as SAP HANA, it can have startup as what? BO, it can have startup as NetWeaver or BW also. Means when I configure my Design Studio saying startup as HANA, then when I try to create a dashboard with Design Studio, straight away I can create dashboard on HANA views or HANA objects, okay? And whatever dashboard I create, I don't have to publish to BO server. I can publish it to same access engine server in HANA bus. So is it like a platform where I am able to deploy my applications onto it, where I can publish my reports or where I can publish my dashboards onto HANA server bus? That is what it is. So I can install a Design Studio server onto HANA Access Engine and then do what? Create your dashboard and publish dashboard to Access Engine bus, to the HANA server bus. So Access Engine is like a server, okay? It's an engine where you can deploy your applications, where you can deploy your services and it can start responding to the request from the business users from UEFI. That's the target, yeah? So here, as part of application development, there will be two things. One is native development, non-native development. When you say native development, when you use this framework delivered by SAP like UI5, OData services or JavaScript or XML for services, and if you use the SQL script, CE functions and AFL, then we call that as HANA native development. But if you are basically developing a project saying ABAP as a front end, HANA as a back end, then it is a non-native. Say if you use ABAP, Java, C++, anything as for front end, and for backend you're using HANA, then it is what? Non-native application development. So we can still develop your own applications by using HANA framework also. So that is where we refer HANA as platform. So HANA is an in-memory database, HANA is an appliance, and HANA is also a platform where you can deploy your own applications. With the introduction of XS engine into HANA, you can develop your own applications also. Understand this? So HANA is a database, it's an appliance along which is customized for a certain hardware capabilities, and it's a platform. This is what HANA is. Clear this, boss? Okay. So knowing that this is what HANA is, okay, we'll have to get it. We'll not touch this. This is what important. So we'll have to know HANA use cases first. So when I say HANA use case, how can I use HANA? That's what it is. So HANA is like a database, like any other database. But so knowing that it's an in-memory database and it's really fast, in what kind of business process or in what kind of business scenario I can leverage SAP HANA? That's what it is. So with this we can understand in the real time how are they using HANA systems. Okay. First one, HANA as data mart. You can use SAP HANA as a data mart. What does it mean? Yeah. Now look at this. So you will install SAP HANA as a central database. You will install SAP HANA as a central database. Okay. And you will extract data from different applications into HANA. We call that as data provisioning. And we have different data processing techniques like through SLT or through BODS or through smart data access, smart data quality, smart data integration, and we have different options like this. And then we can bring the data from different systems into what? Into HANA database. Means what? Let's say I'll have some database table in HANA, and I've got database table in ECC. From ECC table I can extract or I can do data provisioning and load into what? HANA table. Through what? I can either use SLT, I can use DXC, I can use BODS, I can use smart data access, smart data quality, smart data integration, anything can be used. You can extract it from non-SAP, SAP, any systems can be, you can bring in data into it. Okay. And once the data is brought into those tables, and in HANA you'll have something HANA modeling capabilities. HANA has got some modeling capabilities where basically you can create HANA information models like attribute views, analytical views, or what? Calculation views, and expose them for reporting environment. Where you can do reporting with, you can expose these models to the reporting environment through MDX interface or through SQL interface. Any reporting component which can interact with HANA through SQL or MDX can consume those HANA information models and then do reporting. Yes, sir. This is what using SAP HANA as a data models. So you'd use HANA for storing the data, and we'll have some data processing techniques where you can bring data in real time. Through SLT I can bring data in real time. In real time means as soon as the transaction is created, it is immediately replicated to what? To your HANA database. Okay. And then on top of those tables you can create your HANA information models through calculation views or attribute views or analytical views, and expose them for reporting environment through BO or Excel, depending on Tableau, depending on the business requirement. So utilizing HANA this way is a data mart. Fine, boss? Okay. Next one, we'll see. We can also use HANA as a database. HANA is a database, right? Is my HANA a database? Yes, HANA is a database. So I can use HANA as a normal database. Let's say prior to introduction of SAP HANA, I was using BW for as a warehousing solution. I was using BW as a warehousing solution where when I have to install BW, do I install with some database in the backend? How do I install? First I install the database, then I install kernel, then I install ABAP stack, and then I have this sitting on what? on that Oracle or any database I can install. Yes or no? Same way, instead of installing BW on Oracle database or SQL Server or DB2, why don't we install BW on HANA? Because HANA is also database, right? Except the point of in-memory, it's pretty much same. So why don't I install BW on HANA? That's where concept comes out as BW powered by HANA. So I can have BW where I can use HANA as a backend database for BW. Or we'll have ECC powered by HANA, APO powered by HANA, CRM powered by HANA. You can have very SAP applications start using HANA as the backend database. That is what using HANA as locals. You can have OLTP applications or OL lab applications using HANA as a database. Now, for example, from BW 7.3 SP5, we have the flexibility of using HANA as a backend database. Now we have 7.4 SP9 is one. Now, if you look at migrating your BW now, we have to prefer a 7.4 minimum SP8. It has got tight integration between HANA and BW. But from BW 7.3 SP5, we had an option of using BW on top of what? HANA. Okay. So if you want your BW to sit on HANA, your BW version should be minimum 7.3 SP5. Okay. And your HANA should be minimum SP3. Okay. Next, we can also have ECC powered by HANA also. I can install ECC system on top of what? HANA database also. Yeah. So future they are looking at this way, where all applications sits on a single database platform. This is not still out. This flavor is not yet out. We still have working with these. Okay. This is what leveraging HANA as database. Clear this? So what we will do is, when you look at a situation where we have BW being powered by HANA, that's a major chunk. Then we have to look into, we know as it is cube, we know as it is ODS, all this. How do we import those cubes and DSOs into HANA as HANA models? So if I have HANA information model like attribute view, calculation view, how do I expose them to BW environment as transient provider or virtual provider or whatever it is, we'll see. Two-way communications, and how do we play with this? So once HANA comes as backend database for BW becomes more strong now with high performance and also more functionalities of more info providers. We can also use analytical views, calculation views also for reporting through BEX or whatever it is. Yeah. And with ECC powered by HANA, we'll have to focus on something called VDM, virtual data model, or something called HANA Live. Okay. So there's some, like, how do we have business content in BW? Same way for speeding up the implementation with HANA, SAP comes up with something RDS, Rapid Deployment Solutions. As part of this, they've got some packages like HANA Live, which will have ready-made information models delivered. We just have to import those packages, and we'll have all the views ready, and we can use these views for reporting straight away. Also, yeah. And now SAP, we can also use SAP HANA as accelerator also. What do you mean by accelerator? Bus? Speeding up the process, any business process here. Now let's say I have ECC being powered by some non-HANA database bus, and some business process is running slow in it. Let's say in ECC I've got ATP, availability to promise check, where it is really slowed down. So the time taken to create my sales order is really slow because of the performance of my ATP run, availability to promise run. Okay, then what I want? So I would like to use HANA database to just accelerate that particular business functionality. Then what I'll do? I'll install HANA as a secondary database and move all the relevant, I'll copy the relevant tables of ATP to what? To HANA database, and I'll be replicating through what? When I say SLT means what? In real time, the data from this database will be moved to the HANA database. Then I'll customize my ABAP programs. Instead of my ABAP programs relevant to ATP run or ATP programs will be modified to start using this HANA database. If I just use my HANA database, it does not speed up. What I'll do? I'll implement the logic of availability to promise. I'll implement that logic as a stored procedure in what? In HANA database, and I'll create an ABAP managed database procedure in ECC, which actually calls my what? Procedure bus. With ECC powered by HANA or BW powered by HANA, we have new concept called ABAP managed database procedures, where you can create an ABAP class with a method in it, method declared as a procedure, as an enhancement spot, we can create a stored procedure in it. So when this ABAP program is triggered, it will be basically triggering a stored procedure in HANA. Since it is running in memory or processing data in memory, your performance of that process of ATP would be faster.
Then entire logic will be written.
Actually, not exact. Actually, what you go to SC24, you create a class,
Yeah.
you create a method, set the method as method procedure HANA DB procedure. Okay, then start writing your SQL script like enhancement spot, and this script will be executed in what? HANA database. It is as good as writing a script and creating an ABAP program with database connection, calling the procedure. It's all same.
Just like a procedure we are calling definition.
That's it. It's a procedure embedded into ABAP. So means what? If I'm doing this, what? I'm pushing logic into what? To HANA database. That's the point. Okay. So if you find some business process where some of the process in ECC is slow or in BW is slow, I can also leverage HANA as a separate secondary database and use it for speeding up the process. That is what using HANA as accelerator, or might be the best example what SAP's projects is COPA reporting. Normally, when they have some ABAP reports, they'll have ABAP reporting also done on the COPA. Now, COPA will have the 4 tables, the CE1, CE2, CE3 and CE4. Basically, your CE1 is like actuals and CE2 will have plan. But when you find an ABAP report touching the CE1 table, they are really slow. Because the CE1 will be huge table with some around 40 million transactions. It will be huge tables. So the reports on those tables, which are doing a select on those tables, are really slow. So what they can do, they can install on some secondary HANA database, replicate all the CE4, all the tables of operating concern into a dedicated HANA database, and build up a model from those tables and expose them for reporting. So for reporting and COPA, I will be using the HANA database. Just to speed up the process of ABAP reports on operating concern, I am using HANA database as an accelerator. So it depends on case by case. So I can use HANA as an accelerator to speed up any of my business functionality, any of my business process. That's the point. Yeah.
Which version of the ECC will support the
HP 6, 7, yeah. From 6 it stopped. Yeah.
4.1?
No. No 4.7 also no, not supported. Next, we can also have HANA on cloud. So we can have SAP HANA as a cloud also. When I say cloud, it will be installed as one central instance and multiple clients can start using the same infrastructure. That is also possible. Okay. Next is what? Mixed approach. When I say mixed approach, what? SAP HANA has data mart plus database also. Now look at this. I don't have the. Can I use HANA like this? Now I say I'm installing. Let's say I've got a BW system. Okay, and I've got a backend database. For BW, I have got a backend database. Say, I've got now what is this? I've got BW being powered by what? HANA. Now this HANA is used as a database for what? HANA applications, right? Good. Now, can I use the same HANA database? Let's say I've got different source systems. Okay, let's understand these are source systems, and you're trying to load data from this to this through some any data processing techniques like SLT or DXC or through what BODS or smart data access. Yeah, anything I can, or flat file. Yeah? Anything can be done. So from the different source systems, I would say. Okay, I can get data into this HANA database and can also build views. Means what? I'm using HANA as what? As a database for BW, and the same HANA database is being used as what? In data mart scenarios also. This is what we call as mixed approach, and this is what we see more in the real time. This is what we see more in the real time combinations. Okay, we'll get in deep how it works later, but that's how that is mixed approach here. Next, What is this? SAP HANA development. I told you by using SAP HANA, can you develop your own applications also? Yes. Which because it has got its own Access engine. By using Access project, you can create your own HANA native development or non-native development. When you use a framework about SAP UI5, OData, Access OData or JavaScript or XML, and the scripting in the backend for implementing the calculation logics, that if you develop application with that framework, we call that as what? Native. And if you use ABAP or Java or something like for front end, we call them as non-native application development. By using either native or non-native, we can develop our own applications also. So having known this, we can use HANA for all these cases. My analysis is, see, this is about developing your own application. So now what is happening is, in olden days, every customer would have some requirement. Based on the requirement, we used to develop some application like VB as a front end and Oracle as back end and give the application to him. But now slowly what is happening is, the companies are manufacturing products, or they're making the products ready and they're selling the product to everyone. Like more generic tools are being manufactured now. Yeah. So for example, if you look at ECC, for concept of ERP, SAP has developed SAP ECC and they are selling it to every customer. For implementing a concept of data warehousing, they have developed BW and they are selling it to every customer. Getting this? For more generic requirements of every business, we have a product being designed and the product is being given to every customer, and every customer will start customizing that as per their business requirement. So you basically take a ready-made application and you customize it as per your requirement and then start using it. That's what you're doing. Yes or no? So now suppose since HANA has come in, do you again start spending time in creating your own ECC like application and then work it out, or will you use existing product? Name a concept, you give me requirement, I'll give you 10 to 15 applications for the same. Let's say I want ERP product ante Oracle undundi, SAP undundi, PeopleSoft undi, ennu unnayi. Evaru padtharu kotta software kuda tayaru chesaru already, right? Will you still again go for developing a new application first? No. That's a rare concept. But there might be some functionality which is not available in any application and you would like to develop your own application, you would go with, which is very rare. Because majorly for any kind of requirement for a business, we have ready-made products available. For warehousing solution, we have BW. For ERP, we have ECC. For CRM solution, we have CRM, Salesforce. So all ready-made applications tonight. We can leverage those existing applications. You can just power those applications by using HANA as a backend. Like how we've been using BW Accelerator to accelerate your report query performances. Same way I can use HANA as a backend for any application to speed up the application performance. So what I understand is, this requirement would be very rare. If I say out of 100 projects, there might be one project with this HANA native development. Very, very rare. Because very rare only when you find some companies who are trying to do some research and try to develop some product, their own product, and then they want to sell it to SAP. That's where you find those kind of work about developing your own native applications. Majorly, if you look at existing customers who are already using BW, you would find majorly with what is this? Mixed approaches. Now, there's a lot of intention into the market saying once HANA comes in, BW poinda, right? BW is gone once HANA comes in. No. And BW becomes more powerful, in fact, when HANA comes in. HANA is not replacing BW. HANA is powering BW. That's how there is a difference in it. Okay, boss? Because see, my simple question is, HANA is a database and BW is an enterprise data warehousing solution. Okay, so both concepts are different. One will not replace the other. Okay, so look at the point. My question is, like HANA, we also had before the introduction of HANA, did we have database concept? HANA before HANA, did we have a database concept before? Yes. Like Oracle, there are a lot of databases, right? Now, without using BW, I could implement data warehousing solution. Non-SAP data warehousing was still there when BW was already there, where they were using centralized Oracle database and they were using Informatica or data stage as ETL tool to extract data into Oracle databases and then do report with Cognos or BO or Microsoft Strategy, anything, MS, BI, whatever it is, we still had it. Even when BW was still there, we had this kind of data warehousing solutions were still there or not, right? So when database was already there, why did you still use BW? Got my question? When you already had an Oracle database or SQL Server or DB2 which you could use as a central database, why were you been using BW? Yeah, it is more a sophisticated enterprise data warehousing tool which will give you all tools, techniques and administration capabilities for all what scheduling, monitoring, administration. All those been set up as an application given to you. For example, I would like to do loading in the backend, and I would like to do all the backend processing through process chains, which is more graphical. You know process chains in BW? Do we have the same thing in HANA? No. I can create a job in HANA, I can schedule that job, but I cannot have a more graphical representation of scheduling as a process, like no event, like events. It's all very complex into it. We don't have a graphical mode of process change, or we don't have any very good monitoring tools. If the requirement of scheduling goes very complex, you have to use again third-party tool for scheduling. In BW, are we using third-party tool for scheduling, or do we have our own scheduler through which you can do scheduling? We can do scheduling within BW. We have processes in BW. Yes or no? RDS, the lot of scheduling, monitoring, administration, all these capabilities we have, because it's an enterprise data warehousing solution which is not available in BW. Which is not available in HANA. So HANA will never replace BW. The concept of HANA is different. Concept of BW is different. The purpose of HANA is a database, in-memory database, to process data in RAM and to store data in RAM. And they have given flexible of developing your own applications and deploy it on HANA with what? Access engine. That is it. But BW is an enterprise data warehouse solution where it has got flexibilities, adapters, connectors through which you can extract data from different places, schedule it, monitor it, do administration, store it, then do reporting. HANA is not more sophisticated enterprise warehouse solution. It's a database solution. It's a solution towards in-memory database. BW is a solution towards enterprise data warehouse. So HANA will not replace BW. HANA will just power BW. Getting what I'm saying? So, and in the real time, they want to use both the capabilities. So what they want to do is they would have BW powered by HANA, and they use the same HANA database for data marting also. So that's what you'll see products coming out with mixed approach a lot. So they'll be using HANA for database for BW and also as a mixed approach also. Clearness? So and one more point to be analyzed is, let's say I have a customer who is already been used. I'm just suggesting why BW is still there. Okay, say even when non-SAP data warehousing solutions are there are still around 60 to 70,000 customers who are still using BW, right? Now they've been using BW from past 10 years or 15 years, let's say. Now you go to them and say, start using HANA. Now they're asking, why HANA? First question is, why should I use HANA? Then we'll say it will process data in memory, process it really fast, and it will boost up your performance. Okay, so if I use HANA, I'm going to have my reports very fast. That's the point. Ultimate point is that. So I've got two options here. One thing is I scrap out the BW, and what are the cubes I already designed from past 10 to 15 years, do redesign all the modeling in what? HANA, and then do report. That is one option. One more, why am I doing this? To get the performance right? One more thing is, for the existing BW, you can, instead of using, you can migrate a non-SAP, non-HANA database to what? HANA database. Means instead of having BW with Oracle database, I'll replace Oracle database with what? HANA database bus. Now that is BW being powered by HANA bus. Now, in which case my customer will get ROI, return on investment. Let's say I buy HANA database for say 2 or 3 crores. Okay. If I'm doing the first case where I'm redesigning all the models, it will take 5 years. Even if you're seeing the logic and building it, it will become what? 5 years.
To achieve the same functionality also difficult.
If it's really strong, you can do. Some cases like inventory, it might be tough, but okay, other cases you will be able to handle. Then again, I know it's not so matured in HANA, but still you can do some. You have a flexible writing script, right? You can implement any logic you want. So this will take 5 years, but this will take 6 hours. Boss. Migrating your Oracle database to HANA database will just take 6 hours, but in the real time it will go on for 2 weeks or 3 weeks because of testing, post migration steps. We'll have some testing also, which will take some 2 to 3 weeks. What is return on investment? Where does it got high return on investment? BW powered by HANA. Yeah, I'm coming to. Yes or no? Did you understand this point? Yeah, good. Now he says if it is new, so for existing customer who has got BW, I will propose this kind of solution saying, if you want to get a high return on investment, please power your existing BW with HANA and then use it. Is that okay? Justified? Okay, good. Now he says, now what about existing customer who is, what about new customer? Let's say now he says, what about a new customer now who is going for HANA now? So should I propose HANA or should I propose BW? That's what the case is. Okay, now understand the problems with the core HANA bus. Okay, you should understand, then we can. Now let's say this is your core HANA database. Okay, a simple, let's take some ECC. Forget about lot of applications, just take ECC. Okay, now if I need to implement the same concept of BW, what should I do? Should I extract data from ECC to what? This BW is HANA to HANA, right? So I'll use some data processing techniques like what? BODS, or I use what? SLT or DX. If I want to get data in real time, basically you're using what? HANA for what? You want to have HANA as it is will not give you real time data. When HANA is accompanied with SLT, it starts giving you in real time data, right? Good. So you want data in real time, right? So what I'll do? I'll do what? I'll use SLT bus. If I use SLT and let's say in ECC I have a table called VBAC, yeah? And in HANA also it does create a table called what? Okay, and then through SLT you will be replicating that in real time from VBAC to what? To another VBAC table in HANA, and top of this table you have to create models and then do reporting. Okay, if it's single table, fine. So does user give you a requirement such a way that it will have data in single table? No, right? He says I would like to have some reporting on sales 100. So where you will basically have to join VBAC table, VBUK, VBAP, VBEP. Let's say you have to basically bring out 50 tables and then do modeling on those 50 tables and build up a logic and then give it for reporting. Means what? I need to replicate 50 tables, rebuild the logic, and then give it for expose the view for reporting. Right? That is the point what you do. If it is BW, because SLT can only replicate data in real time using a table or a database view. Okay. Now imagine if it is BW with ECC, can I leverage the existing extractors what is delivered for LO extraction? 2LS, 11 VHDR, V8. I can just use a ready-made extractor and then load into my targets and start doing reporting. I know it's not real time, but you can still leverage it for real time through RDA. I'll come to a solution of real time also, but what I'm saying is, what are the logic of ready-made extractors we have? Can I use this with this functionality? I can use it through what? Through BODS. I must use what? BODS and use that. But will that be real time again? No. SLT, if you want real time, SLT can only access table or view, no more extractors. So in that case, I need to re-implement the same logic of LO extraction here again. Is it easy? So again, return on investment will be what? Takes a lot of time to get that out. That could be one. And one more thing, let's say, so then what you will say? Then you will say, I'll use BODS or I'll use DX. If you're using DX, it means you're using BW functionality. If you say you'll use data processing as DXC, where I can use LO extractor or any extractor, it means you're using BW functionality only. You getting what I'm saying? If you're using BODS, is again another tool which has to be maintained now. Again, SLT is also separate server. It's a dedicated server again. Again, you need to maintain one more separate server just to have this. This again SAP application, SAP server with ABAP instance is again server maintained again separately. If you are going with BODS is again maintained separately. And does not give so much. And that doesn't become, because BW is what? It's an end-to-end data warehousing solution. But if you look at this, you're using lot other servers and implementing a warehousing basically. Getting what I'm saying? So the time taken to re-implement that will not be so easy here. Okay, but now if I go with this now, let's say I do this way, and one more point, I said SLT, right? SLT is the one which is giving you real time. And let's say now I can also do this way. Look at this. This is also possible. Now I've got ECC. Okay. I can extract data. If you want real time data to BW, I can extract here. Both are possible with latest SLT server package. Using SLT, I can bring data in real time to HANA or to BW also. With the new support pack and new DIMMs of SLT, SLT can give real time data to BW also. Through SLT, we can replicate real time data from SAP or non-SAP system to HANA database directly or to BW also. And BODS also can be connected to BW source. Can I connect BODS also as a source system to my BW bus? Yes. So can I still leverage BODS along with BW also? Yeah. So what's happening now is, in all the projects, in some projects, what they're doing is they're using BW functionality for all the data processing. They create the normal source system, DB connect or BODS external connection, ODP connections. We have ODP SLT. We have all this. And then bring all those data into this BW DSO or something. So will the DSO have an active table in the backend, and all those active tables will be in what? In the backend database, HANA database, and they'll use those tables and create those models and do reporting. So there are some projects where they're using BW functionality for bringing the data into BW, consolidate, and then using the HANA capabilities for modeling. In some cases they're using HANA models, in some cases they're using BW functional. Like implementing inventory is not so easy in HANA modeling. HANA modeling is not so matured. It's okay. So if you want to implement, like say complex, like non-included keywords with inflow and outflow, like different aggregation, like you have got something called except aggregations. We still have except aggregation like count distinct in HANA, but if you want to go with different except aggregations, I'll have to implement lots of logic. I'll have to make it very complex here. So BW is more mature to handle any kind of modeling techniques again. So to handle all this, I can go with BW. Still, there might be some cases where HANA being suitable. That's where when I use BW powered by HANA, in what are the case BW is suitable, I'll use BW functionalities. In what are the case where my HANA is suitable, I can use HANA functionalities and mix them both. So I create HANA information model. I can bring it to BW as a transition provider. So I create a cube. I can bring it to into HANA as HANA model and combine multiple views or combine multiple providers also possible. What is your question?
Sheet number 3.
Yeah.
Still some projects are running only on this.
That's what I'm saying. Even when we had BW without HANA, there are customers who are still been implementing warehousing with what? Non-SAP flow, yes or no? So still you will find some customers even in this flow. That is what I said. HANA as data mart. Still there are customers who are using this way. Still there are customers who will be using this way also. I am saying majority would be this way. This will give them more flexibility. This will give them more flexibility for them. That's what I mean to say.
Without HANA, can we purchase SLT and can we pull the data from ECC to BW directly?
Yes.
So in that case, we no need to buy any SAP HANA database.
But I still need HANA data for processing my data in main memory.
In memory.
I did not come to HANA just for real time. I was interested in HANA because of the in-memory processing and faster performance.
So even though if I am using 7.3, I want to install SAP HANA database. So I can get the in-memory database, real-time data again. If I use again in the reporting performance will decrease.
Why?
SAP HANA and SAP BW we cannot integrate 7.3. We don't have.
I said 7.3 SP5 is supported, right? From BW 7.3 SP5 we can have HANA as a backend. Say now you got BW 7.3 is this and you got HANA as a backend, and then you're leveraging, you can leverage SLT to anything, to HANA, you can connect SLT server, what? SLT server is like a middleware server which can connect any source to any target. So that is with that flexibility, I can use SLT server as a middleware where I can connect ECC as a source and BW as a target or HANA as a target. That's what I'm saying. Because when I use BW function of loading, I don't have real time, but I guess with SLT able to connect to BW as a target, I can have real time data into BW also. But only thing is SLT can access table or a view. But if you want to consume the data source, you have to use normal ODP mechanism or normal loading. Okay, boss? So that's where I really prefer and suggest BW powered by HANA only. So HANA will not replace BW. There might be, see, good point. You said new one. Do you think the customer who is able to buy HANA has not yet purchased BW till today? ఇప్పుడు HANA కొనేటోడు ఇంతవరకు బిడులు కొనుక్కొని ఉంటాడంట అంటున్నాడు. If he is able to spend money for purchasing HANA, you would have some data warehousing solution definitely. Yes or no? If it is non-SAP warehouse, he will be replacing that central database with what now? HANA. If it is BW already, then they will just replace a backend database with HANA. So basically, it's a high return on investment, very fast. Otherwise, by the time they use HANA as core database, and you'll have BANA coming in with high performance again. So again, they should buy one more software.
In future, if HANA product becomes mature, as you told, now it is not mature, maybe down the line after 10 years it become mature. Then if we are able to...
I know. See, so what is happening now? For example, we said about BODS, right? Slowly the concept of EIM, Enterprise Information Management, is been put into now HANA. Like there's a concept called Smart Data Access and Smart Data Quality. Whatever transformations you're able to do with BODS, they already started putting into what? Into HANA bus, but that is not again so much matured now. So when does the customer get into this? It should be matured and should be proved, then customer prefers to get into this. Customers will never go with trial as a trials, never accepts that.
Down the line after 10 years if it becomes mature, then all the business logic will be implemented in HANA only. Then in that case, BI is required or not?
It will still be required, I'm saying, because say for example, if I want to create there is some system and I would like to bring data into HANA through Smart Data Quality, let's say. So when I create a Smart Data Quality procedure, I can trigger that with excess job. In HANA, I can create some excess job and schedule that in the background. But monitoring it's not so much graphical like how do we have in BW. Yeah? There are small options. For example, say, we have something called restricted key figure in BW. If you want to implement that, we can make it dynamic there in BigQuery, but here we cannot make it dynamic in some cases. In some cases, we can make it dynamic. So customer exits, if you want to implement like concepts of customer exit into modeling, so those kind of still are not so much matured yet. And let's say if you want to handle non-cumulative key figures, handling of inventory is not so easy onto your HANA models, because what are the key figure you create, it can go with aggregation function as sum, min, max, count. Or you can create a key figure with aggregation function as count distinct. But what about average, standard deviations? If you want to go with reference characteristic, latest value, those are still not been available into the HANA modeling flexibilities. So in that case, now what I'll do, I'll start up with HANA as a data mod. I end up with some scenario where I'm not able to implement, and I go to customer saying, I'm not able to implement this point, can you buy BW now? So never. So when there are some functions of BW which suits good for certain modeling capabilities. There are some functionalities of HANA which suits good for some modeling capabilities. So we need a mix of both, and that is where it is always with what? BW powered by HANA. I see even greenfield implementations, means like fresh implementations on BW HANA. This is what you would start working on.
Sir, in SP8 onwards, the inventory would support this.
ఇంకా more tight integration. Yes, inventory support ఎప్పుడు చేస్తుంది? That is different actually. The concept you confused. Normally we have BW cubes. We convert the cubes as unoptimized cubes. We were not touching inventory cube before. with 7.4 SP8, we can also convert unoptimized cube. We can convert inventor cube also as unoptimized cube. That's not about modeling. Modeling is still same. Because 7.4 SP8 is what? BW. There is nothing relevant to HANA bus. So even inventor cubes can be converted as unoptimized cubes. That's what it is. That is what.
So without using VIVOs and Vex, can we get the reports directly in
BOS.
Vivo and Vex?
No. Means HANA is not reporting tool. There is some like data preview where you can see data, but that is the end users would not see that way. They should have some reporting interface. Like it could be Excel. I can do some reports on top of Excel using Excel also with MDX connection. I can do that. But without a reporting tool, because users will not log into database and see, right?
So as you said, some appliances, Dell and Cisco, which is powerful. So can you give an example of what the appliances are building on? What the appliances are building on? With the
Billing.
Building.
Basically, see, when you say appliance, it's actually a hardware. So when you basically look at your HANA box, you'll basically have main memory, your RAM, okay, and then it will have something called disk. We'll discuss on this later, but it will have disk, and it will have something called log volume. So these are major three parts of it, okay? And your motherboard, processor, it's all okay. So main storage should be this main memory, and your disk volume, data storage volume, and then log volume. That's the three things. Because when you say in-memory database, the first question you get is whether is it your memory is volatile, right? So when you lose power, the data in the main memory is lost. So how do you guarantee the data backup, data persistence? That's the question. So what happens is, now basically let's say you have a table in HANA. Let's say the table has got 5 records, and you'll have a disk with the table with 5 records. Now when you switch on the server, and the table will be loaded again, there's some conditions again, but it will be loaded to the main memory. If you flag it as load early, then that will be loaded to main memory when you switch on the server bus. So your main memory also will have a table with 5 records there. So then what they do, every time you're reading it is from main memory, but every time you're writing it actually writes to the disk. So then what, let's say they'll have a concept called save point. Every 5 minutes, let's say we say save point. Then what happens? For every 5 minutes, the data from the main memory is loaded into what? To the disk. It is written to the disk back. Let's say now the time is 11. I've got 5 records in main memory and 5 records in the disk bus. So my next save point would be at what? 11.5. So from 11 to 11.5, let's say I create 4 new transactions. My table in my main memory will have 9, and my disk will have what? 5. And when the save point gets executed 11.5, I get the 4 records into the disk also. So my main memory has got 9 records, and the disk has got what? 9 records. Let's say my next save point will be at what? 11.10. Yeah. Then what happens? Let's say at 11.7, after 11.5, you create 2 more transactions. So my main memory has got what? 9 plus 2, 11 transactions, but disk has got what? 9, and you lost the power. Okay. And every time the transaction is created, what it will be doing is, it will have log, right? It will be there's a component called logger which actually logs the log into this. So the transaction what you did at 11.5 or 11.7 is logged into this logs. Now when you switch on the server back again, the data from the disk, which is 9 records, are loaded to the what? Main memory, and what are the logs we have in this disk are re-executed again, and to bring the data back to the status what it was at 11.7. So like this, it will have some components about disk storage, your log volumes, main memory, L1 cache, L2 cache. It will have the blade servers, it will have processors, it will have RAM. So basically it will have multi-core processors. It will have, because you heard about something called dual core. Yeah, when you say dual core, what? You'll have processor with what? 2 cores in it. When you say core is actually that part of a CPU which actually performs your work. Okay. So when I say 2 cores, only 2 works can be done. But if I say I have a CPU with 16 cores, means 16 works can be done, and I have a motherboard with 8 processors, and each processor having 16 cores. Imagine now size now 16 into 8 is my number of cores in my server. Basically, I'm enhancing the bandwidth of my server by having more cores into it, so that I can deploy parallelism wherever I want. So let's say I want to read data from some table, 3 columns. Instead of one core reading all the 3 columns, what I can do, a reading of column A can be designated to one core, reading of column A B to be another core, reading of column C to another core. So 3 cores will be performing process parallelly to read data from the table and give it to you. So like this we can deploy massive parallel processing and take care of the performance. Obviously when one core reads 3 columns and when 3 cores reading 3 different columns, you would definitely find a difference in the performance. It's not handled by you or by the code. It's all inbuilt intelligence of the HANA server, which will basically assign multi-cores and assign the work for them. We are not doing anything. And even while writing code, you don't even specify execute parallel, nothing. System by default executes parallel. If you want it to execute sequential, in fact you specify it's execute sequential. By default it executes parallel. So you'll have different components like this. Again, there are different sizing. You'll have like my t-shirts, small, extra small, XXL, XL. You'll have different sizing of your servers based on the bandwidth. And one more, when the sizing, what they do is they'll first identify what is a footprint. When I say footprint is what? Total database size which I need to put into the HANA database. First they calculate the size of the footprint. Then what they do is 4 times of your footprint will be a disk and 4 by 1 would be a RAM size. So that's they'll have some calculations like that. So first they calculate the footprint of the database. Then 4 times of your footprint is your disk volume and 1 time of this would be a RAM. Again, what they do, they don't take complete footprint also. They say footprint divided by 2 again. What they do, because they say in HANA we're going to store data in more compressed format. Yeah. So they say when the footprint size is let's say 100 GB and when it tries to compress it, you can compress it to 5 times of it. Means I just need only 20 GB to store that particular 100 GB of data. In that case, I don't need 100 GB, right? So they try to go with 20 or 30 GB. Then this will be 4 times of it, and this will be 20 GB of RAM something. There are some sizing calculations based on the footprint of database. Then they calculate it. That's what you wanted. Yeah. So this is okay. As part of our course, we will be learning HANA as data mart. We would learn this scenario where we learn about data processing techniques. We learn about HANA modelings, we learn about HANA database and then doing reporting on top of it. And we'll also learn HANA as database where we will look at 2 cases. One is BW powered by HANA. We'll also look at ECC powered by HANA. 2 things here. And this is same as your data mart, so mixed approach. And we'll also see about how to develop your native applications. Non-native we're not seeing it really, but we'll only focus on how to do HANA native application. Just get to things like that. How do we create a project? How do we create access OData services? How to create JavaScript? How to create UI5 screen? Because it's more coding. Very rare scenario. I'm not eliminating it because that is coding. I know it is coding, but still it is not being used a lot. Only in a case where you do your own application development, that's where it gets it. But still need to have an idea on it. How to go about doing HANA native development. We get to that part also. This is what the major focus. So if you look at the course content, so this is what we're trying to understand. We will have what is HANA and then about the architecture of HANA and then use cases of HANA, what we just seen. Introduction to HANA Studio. HANA Studio will be basically the client tool, what we use it to get connected to HANA server and start working onto it. Yeah. And then we get into HANA database concept about schema, tables, views, triggers, UDF functions, all this. Column views, all this. Then we get into what? Basic SQL is needed, so we will touch what is needed for this. Because when you go to someone, never tell them you know database, but I don't know SQL. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So we just need to know about SQL, and then we get into writing stored procedure. Because I told you we'll have SQL. Extension to SQL is what? SQL script. Like in Oracle, we have PLSQL. In HANA, we'll have what? SQL script. To implement all the data intensive logic, we use what? SQL script and implement the stored procedure. So we're getting in simple ones, we get loops, arrays, cursors. We get into details of how to go about writing complex stored procedures with cursors, all those stuff. Yeah. Then we get into HANA modeling, where you basically learn about creating HANA information models. We first learn about introduction to that, and we learn about different join, left, right, outer, referential, text join, temporal, spatial joins. Then we get attribute views of different types, and then about different options, then analytical view, and all the options into it, currency conversion, unit conversion, all those. Then we get into calculation view. There's another different model where you'll have different operations, and we cover almost every option into it. Our ranking, counters, input parameters, semantics, extracting semantic, hierarchies, dynamic joins, keep flag, transparent filters, we get into this. And then we get into analytical privilege, static and dynamic both. Analytical privilege is same like your BW authorizations, analysis authorizations, where you can want row level security in BO. So we can set the dynamic or static. So we get into those. How do we control row level security, and how do we make it dynamic with stored procedures also. Then we'll have something called decision tables, what can be used for what if analysis. Simple one, just like writing an update statements or something onto the table. And then performance tuning. Let's say you have some views or you've done information models, and when running, how do I know which part of join is taking more time? Where do I see how do I analyze that view? Then we get to some topic called text analysis, where you basically learn about processing of unstructured data. And this is where I feel good, because BW never had a concept of processing unstructured data. Now with BW being powered by HANA, HANA brings in the capabilities to the table for processing of unstructured data for us. Yeah. So where you have BODS had that, but now HANA will have that. HANA itself will have it, because in HANA you'll have database table where you put in some all the reviews or something, product reviews. We can do some sentiment analysis by using this text analysis on it. We use something called full text indexes and then do that. And then we get into reporting on HANA with Lumira, Design Studio, WebB, IDT and Excel. But I'm not getting into details of each of these tools. I'll just tell you, I'll assume as if you know those tools, and I'll only show you how to expose the HANA objects to the reporting components. Okay. Next will be data provisioning. Okay. For Design Studio, I would explain a bit more, but these all will be smaller tools. Okay. Because this will be the new dashboarding tool for SAP. We had Excel CS or dashboard designer. Now we'll have Design Studio, which is actually replacement for your BEXWAD. You heard about BEXWAD? So this is how it is going to be. Next, we're going to go with data provisioning techniques with BO, DS, SLT, DXE, flat file import, bulk loading, smart data access, quality integration, and that's about. Next is we go and I'll only give introduction about it. I'm not getting in depth. Okay, I'm not comfortable with these topics, because these are more of a data science topics where you play with data, like more of statistical updates. I'm not really comfort, and it's again a separate course, but I can just give you introduction to this. What is all the functions of PAL and BFL. Yeah? And then next is exporting. How do we transport objects in HANA system from development server to quality? How do we transport? We have three different mechanisms of transporting the objects in HANA. I'll show that practically also. How do we because I've got two different HANA servers. I can show you practically on this also. Yeah? Means I can do normal HANA native transports, or I can do transport of HANA objects with using normal ABAP CTS, ABAP transport request also I can use for transporting. So we'll see those. Then we get into HANA development. This is where you're going to learn about data on how to develop your own native applications using HANA. I'll show you about how to create SAP UEFI applications, how to write XS4 data service, how to write JavaScript, how to write your scripting in the backend, and build up a framework, build up a simple application. I'm not getting into complex into this. I'm just showing you a simple thing. Say you have a table, and how to expose this table to front end. Let's say I change some data in the front end, and see that the data is getting changed. Because if you know how to we insert new data, how to modify, how to read data from database with an application with the native framework, I think you can develop any application you want. Yeah? Once you know how to add a new record to table, or modify, delete, or then display in the front ends, then I think you can develop any application you want. Yeah? Then we are getting into BW powered by HANA, which is HANA Optimized Cube. HANA Optimized DSO is no more available, but I'm just stressing that there is something on HANA Optimized DSO, and say no more valid now. It's been removed. Now we'll have to reconvert them back to standard DSO. Then transient provider, how do we consume HANA models in BW? How do we import BW models into HANA? ODP, LSA++, advanced DSO, OpenODSP, composite provider, HANA transformation. How do we normally, you know about transformation like start routine, end routine. But if I write routines, the logic is not getting executed in HANA database. Now what it is, to speed up my application performance as much as possible, I need to push the logic into what? HANA database. So how can I write my HANA expert routine, expert SQL script in stored procedures to improve the speed of my transformations also. Then ABAP managed data procedures, like from ABAP class, how do I call my procedure in the backend database? So this NLS, this I'm not showing practically this topic because I don't have this. I can only show you screenshots on how does it NLS work, because I don't have that much hardware capabilities. Like how do we create a data archiving process? I can only show you screenshots. I'm not showing you system. BW workspaces, agile data mart, semantic partition. This is nowhere concerned with HANA, but the new topics into BW. Then as part of ECC powered by HANA, we're going to look at ODP extractions or ODP reportings. And then what is HANA Live, which we call it as virtual data model with private views, reuse views, query views is what. So this is what we're going to touch out in the complete in this course. Okay. So majorly you see you should focus on the HANA modeling is important. Then BW powered by HANA, then ECC powered by HANA. That is because more use cases for real time use. Because even if you learn all this, when you get onto profile or when you start getting into job, you start focusing on HANA models, and then BW powered by HANA and ECC powered by HANA. That is where you will be focusing more on. Clear, boss? Okay.